Marvel, your host, or our Down on the Farm radio Facebook page. That's where we put our live stream up, and we appreciate you listening each day. Of course, this day is the last day of the year, the last day of December 2020. We appreciate you listening each and every day that you can, and we'll do our best in 2021 to provide you with quality information about livestock, animal agriculture, and agriculture as a whole. Let's begin with one of the most important things that affects agriculture and our daily lives, and of course that's ag weather. We'll begin out in Sonora, and then we'll move over toward LaGrange to finish our forecast. Looks like now through about 3 p.m., Sonora has a winter storm warning. 100% chance of a wintry mix, 50% chance tonight. High today only 33, low tonight 25. Their high on a sunny New Year's Day is going to be 39. Neighbor, let's switch back over and see who we can catch kind of in the middle of the territory. Well, let's just check Kerrville right quick. They're about 36 degrees. They're under that winter storm warning too. 100% chance of moisture today, mainly in the form of rain. 70% tonight, going down to a 10% early tomorrow morning. 29 the low, only 41 the high today, and a high of 50 on New Year's Day. Now let's check San Antonio. Looks like they're about 42 degrees. 100% chance of moisture today, high of 47. Low tonight under a fairly clear sky, 34, and high of 57 on New Year's Day. Tell you what, let's drop down to Victoria. 44 is where they're at. 57 is where they hope to be today. 50% chance of thunderstorms. Decreasing clouds tonight, a low of 36, and a sunny high of 61 tomorrow, New Year's Day. I'm on the line with Julie from D&D. Julie, what do you want to tell us about today?
Well, I was going to let you know that we got all the cattle cubes you could possibly need, 12, 20, and 38% protein cubes for your cattle. We also got the Crete, Precon, and several other fantastic feeds for all the cattle needs.
Tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
If you call me at 830-379-7340, I'd gladly pick up, or you can even come and see me in the store. I'd be glad to talk to you for a few minutes.
First up, let's take a look at our Commodities of Ag Interest as close to this noon time frame as we can get them. March corn, 478 3/4 up 4 1/4. March beans, 13.14 even money, up 13.5. March soybean meal, 430.20 by the ton. It's up 250. March Kansas City hard red winter wheat, 596.5, down 4.5. March number 2 cotton down 28, 77.69. February live cattle up a nickel, 114.05. March feeder cattle down 7.5 at 139.70. February lean hogs up 250 at 70.10. March U.S. dollar index up 156 points at 89.81. February West Texas intermediate crude down 39 at $48 even money. Never this portion of Down on the Farm is brought to you by PMI, Pipe, Steel, and Fencing, pipemovers.com. The location in High. Call Keno at 830-868-0200. That's PMI High. Neighbor, in regards to cotton, the USDA has released its weekly export sales report this morning. Although sales were not as dynamic and robust as the last 3 weeks, there were some surprises. Net sales, 287,900 running bales for 2021. That was down 30% from the previous week and 24% from the 4-week average. Primary buyers, Vietnam, Pakistan, and China. This portion of Down on the Farm during the noon hour brought to you by PMI, Pipe, Steel, and Fencing, pipemovers.com. Locations in San Antonio, High, Hondo, Kerrville, Robstown, Jourdanton, and Laredo. Find out the addresses and telephone numbers of these locations at pipemovers.com. PMI, Pipe, Steel, and Fencing. Beef export sales for the week of Christmas totaled 14,900 metric ton, with shipments for the week of 27,600 metric ton. Japan, China, and South Korea led the list of purchasers. Fat cattle on the hoof trading this week at 111. That's 1 higher than last week. Dress deals hot and hanging on the Packer rail, 2 to 4 higher at 175.50. Neighbor, today's Texas News and Views story with my friend Tom Nicoletti kind of made me not laugh. Not because Tom was funny or the topic was funny, but it concerns rice and donations made to an Austin food bank. I can remember several years ago when the liberal politics of Austin caused them to put tremendous amounts of pressure on the River Authority to cut the farmers off that were receiving water from the same river system that they receive their water from. I think you'll understand the irony when you listen to Tom's report. Tom?
Rice donation to an Austin food bank equivalent to 110,000 servings of rice. I'm Tom Nicoletti with Texas News and Views from the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network. More after these messages.
You're looking for soybeans that give you the yield you want. But when it comes to fighting your toughest weeds, you also need flexibility. Introducing Extend Flex soybeans. Elite genetics with triple tolerance to dicamba, glyphosate, and glufosinate. The yield you want, the choice you need. Learn more at extendflexsoy.com. Always read and follow IRM where applicable, grain marketing, and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
In Texas, there's pea-size hail and baseball-size hail. Guess which one hit our house? We didn't even know where to begin, but we called our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent, and he was so reassuring. He knew exactly what to do to get our house back into shape and our lives back to normal. Now, we're even more thankful for the roof over our heads.
Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance today at tfbinsurance.com to insure your home for Texas-size weather. Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
My guest today is Tommy Turner. He is president of the Texas Rice Council, joining us from Wharton County in southeast Texas. And Tommy, want to go to you to get your reaction to the region's rice farmers donating such a huge amount of rice to the Central Texas Food Bank in the amount of 11,000 pounds.
Well, it's just another example of farmers trying to give back. There's a lot of people hurting right now, and it's just a chance to help people in this time of need whenever we're trying to address people's needs to have food for just everyday life. With this second wave of coronavirus, we had our Western Rice Belt Production Conference Committee, and at that committee, Daniel Berglund suggested, why don't we do a donation? We have some funds available from sponsorship to other Western Rice Belt Production Committee, and the committee thought that was a great idea, and we just took the ball from there and ran with it to try to make this happen before Christmas.
What was Texas Rice Council's role in this donation effort?
I'd worked with some of the mills earlier in the spring on getting donations into the Houston area, so I'd had some experience in contacting people at the various mills. We have 5 mills here in Texas, and they do a great job of milling Texas rice and getting it out there to the consumers. And the Texas Rice Council receives 3 cents from the checkoff program that Texas rice farmers are a part of. The charge to the Texas Rice Council is promotion, education, and market development. And we work with the U.S. Rice Producers Association to achieve those goals. And the CEO, Dwight Roberts, lives in the Austin area. And whenever Daniel said, I think we ought to do this donation into the Central Texas Food Bank in Austin, Dwight said, I know some folks there, and let me make some calls. So Dwight worked on the logistics part of it, and together we put this together in about 5 days.
All right. Any other type of logistics that you can put your finger on that help to ensure that this rice would be all in one location for the pickup in Freeport?
So we come up with the idea, and then you just got to figure out how to make it come about. As I started talking to the mills, they have their process. Typically, you place an order, and it's a couple of weeks before the order is packaged into the size order you want, and then you have to figure out how you're going to get it shipped. And we just try to make a donation, and we want to move quickly on this, get it before Christmas. And so we had to work with the people at the mills to see if we could somehow shorten that time frame. And luckily, Riviana and Freeport had some rice available just in case a customer ordered some, and it was Texas rice, the kind of rice we wanted to send up to Austin. And so we were able to source the rice. I think the amazing thing about it is we put the order in on Thursday evening. Food Bank, they have a great system of getting trucks where they need to pick up food and get it to their warehouse. They were able to get down there and pick up the rice, and they had it in Austin by Tuesday.
Those comments today from Tommy Turner. He is president of the Texas Rice Council.
When we moved to Texas, we were like fish out of water. We didn't know anyone in our neighborhood until our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent came to the house. She was so helpful and reassuring, a friendly face with that Texan hospitality I'd heard about. When we purchased a Texas Farm Bureau insurance policy, we knew we were making the right choice. We knew our family would be protected.
Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance today at tfbinsurance.com to find an insurance agent who's a true neighbor. Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Neighbor, because of the holiday and no livestock market operator reports, we've got a little bit more time, so let's go to Jessica Dommel at the Texas Farm Bureau Radio News Desk for an update. Jessica, what's your topic?
Farm income may fall in 2021. USDA's Gary Crawford has more.
I think it's clear that 2021 is going to see a much lower farm income than 2020.
USDA's chief economist Rob Johansson, of course, over $46 billion of this past year's farm income has come from direct government payments, including disaster relief and 2 rounds of coronavirus relief. Now for 2021, Johansson says,
both in the crop and the livestock side, we expect cash receipts up by probably about $26 billion. We also expect these government programs to slow down and to be much smaller as we come out of the COVID-19 pandemic.
2021 farm income could still fall by $8 to $12 billion.
That report from USDA's Gary Crawford.
Are you looking for something unusual or hard to find? You might just find it on HiBid.com. It's the online auction site for, well, just about everything. HiBid.com has estate sales, closeouts, liquidations, even government-seized vehicle auctions. It's easy to bid on office furniture, antiques, sports memorabilia, restaurant equipment, motorboats, even arcade games. You can search for items by name or simply see where the next page takes you. Visit HiBid.com, that's HIBID.com, and find what you're looking for today.
When we moved to Texas, we were like fish out of water. We didn't know anyone in our neighborhood until our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent came to the house. She was so helpful and reassuring, a friendly face with that Texan hospitality I'd heard about. When we purchased a Texas Farm Bureau insurance policy, we knew we were making the right choice. We knew our family would be protected.
Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance today at tfbinsurance.com to find an insurance agent who's a true neighbor. Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
For the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network, I'm Jessica Dommel.
We're on the line with Benny Cox from Producers in Cargyle, San Angelo. Benny, I hope you had a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thank you, Larry.
And I hope our new year is good. But before we go to look into that one, let's look back 360 some odd days. What was the most challenging thing for y'all at Producers in Cargyle?
Actually, a lot of people would look at it as a plus, or that's the angle that I'll go from here. Actually, March the 11th, which was a Wednesday, I was sitting in Mike Conaway's office, and that actually, with the American Sheep Industry's legislative trip, and actually, I believe that was the last day that anybody or any large group was allowed to go into the congressional offices, and it was all because of this COVID situation. When we came home, we saw there in the next week or so, the news was just went crazy. And the last 2 sales, of course, you know, I'm highly involved in the sheep and the goat end of it. Not that I don't do the cattle as well, but right. The 24th and the 31st were 2 Tuesdays at the end of March, and it rocked our market. Of course, we're totally ethnic driven, you know, there at Producers, and the market fell off a good deal for 2 weeks there. The first week, the hair sheep lambs basically fell off. The goats didn't, and the next week, both of them fell off considerably. And then the next 2 weeks, we got all that back, actually, and some on the goats. And the market just responded remarkably to the demand, to the ethnic demand, and we saw that market stay better than it ever has through the summer months. Now, it did fall off a bit, but generally by the end of June to the middle of July, the market will be devastated. I mean, I say devastated. It'll fall off a good deal. But this year, it didn't do that. So we actually got along really well with the market trends, but not only the market trends, we increased the numbers or the flow of livestock considerably, enough that we had to have 7 weeks in a row 2-day sales. And that would be 8 in the last 12 years, 7 of which were in a row. So we had increased numbers of a fabulous market. And part of the increase was the wool feeder lambs that generally go straight to the feed yards or traded outside. Private treaty sales are pretty common in those people that have those bigger groups still left. And we ended up selling most all those through the sale barn. So where there was, devastation in other markets, we fared quite well in the sheep and goat deal. The cattle deal, much the same as it was around the nation. Not any big moves, positively or negatively, comparing our market to to markets around the nation. So
Right. Now, as we move into 2021, what's the thing that you're most excited about?
getting past 2020. I actually heard Mike Harper. He owns one of the largest lamb feed yards in the Colorado area, and actually an investor in the new packing plant there at Brush, lamb packing plant that just opened here in the last. Oh, they just kind of got into full swing here in the last month or so.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Mike, he says, I'm really looking forward to this 2020 being behind us. And so I kind of fall in that same category.
Yeah, I saw a commercial the other day where the devil is looking on Tinder for a date, and he comes across a girl that he likes, and her name is 2020. So 2020 and the devil got together, and the very last scene in that commercial is they're watching asteroids hit the Earth and thinking how sweet it is that they got together. And I thought, well, that'd be just about what 2020 would end with. The devil and his new wife watching asteroids hit the Earth. Benny, it's been good talking to you. I appreciate you, and we're going to utilize you even more in this next year. You know, Texas Farm Bureau has contracted with me to do a daily livestock market program on their network, 52 weeks a year, 5 days a week, and I'll look toward y'all to provide us sheep and goat information. Tell everybody how to get a hold of you when they get ready to do business with you this next year.
Well, they can call me on my mobile. It's 325-234-4277. The office is the same area code, 653-3371, or they can always go to the web, which is producersandcargill.com.
Neighbor, did you know that the Millworks division at MG Building Materials is a great place to look when you want to upgrade your home? That division carries a full line of wood, aluminum, and vinyl windows. What a great upgrade. We've got vinyl windows in our house down here on the bay, and they sure are pretty from the inside and out. The possibilities for those upgrades are endless with the help of MG and their 5 locations. They've got one in San Antonio, got one in Corpus, got one in Uvalde, got one in Kerrville, and they have one in Pleasanton. That's MG Building Materials. Neighbor, let's hit the grains right quick. Courtesy of John Tuggle, call 800-288-4453. We'll call Corpus Milo $12.94. Corpus Yellow Corn $5.19 and a half. Corpus Wheat $6.71 and a half. And we'll call Placido Beans $12.40 and a half. The Milo trucks are still being sent to Corpus, to the Corpus Christi Public Elevator and ADM through 6 p.m. this afternoon. Then they'll close down, and more than likely they will be open this next week. We moved 14,919 bale of Texas cotton, neighbor. That cotton brought us about 70-60. That's it for the 1245 edition of Down on the Farm. I'm your host, Larry Marble. If I don't see you before New Year's, y'all have a good one. Happy New Year.